Welcome to this week's Hawk Talk for the week of September 8th through the 14th. I'm Erin Graff, the Interim Associate Dean of Students. Yesterday, our nation celebrated Labor Day. And fun fact for all of you, Labor Day became a federal holiday in 1894, which recognizes the contributions workers have made to the strength, prosperity, and well-being of our country. So I hope you had a wonderful Labor Day.
As we dive into the semester, did you know that there are a number of virtual resources for students, including tutoring in almost every subject and sessions with a learning specialist that can help with strategies to be successful with studying and learning? Check out the Academic Support Center and click on Success Services for Students for more information.
So this week, we have a really great event for students, especially if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, some anxiety, stress from kind of diving back into the semester. We have a wonderful event called From Stress to Serenity, featuring guest speaker Goli Gabe. She has over 21 years of teaching and clinical experience in mental health and wellness, and she leads participants through a tangible experience of serenity and mental, emotional, and physical well-being. You're going to learn hands-on practices to relieve stress and anxiety, and it'll hopefully get you connected to your highest, most peaceful self. I know I could benefit from that, and I have a feeling you can too. So come join us. This event is going to take place on Wednesday, September 9th at 7 p.m. We have the link to join at the time of the event in our Instagram bio. We hope to see you there.
The library is also hosting the first of their Being Successful online sessions this week. The topic is Welcome to College. Meet with our library staff on Tuesday at 2 p.m. or Thursday at 10 p.m. for this interactive discussion. Be sure to also connect with our library on Instagram at Harper College Library.
Yes, and in addition to that, the Financial Aid Department invites students to create a budget to keep your finances on track. So if you visit the www.igrad.com/budget link, this is a tool to help you plan for your expenses, set goals, and track your progress. We all need some financial wellness in our life. This is a great tool for you to use to ensure that your finances are on track.
Are you looking for a quick and easy and healthy snack during the beginning of the semester? Check out the bean and corn salsa that our wellness manager Beth has shared in this month's Harper Happenings. For today's featured segment, as Erin and Beth talk about suicide prevention and awareness and the resources that are available to Harper students.
So Beth, today we're talking about Suicide Prevention Week, which runs September 6th through the 12th. And on September 10th marks World Suicide Prevention Day. Can you first share with us a little bit about the importance of recognizing Suicide Prevention Week and World Suicide Prevention Day?
Yeah, so as the wellness manager at Harper College, I do a lot of wellness programming with students and employees. And so emotional wellness is one of those 8 dimensions of wellness. And so I think first off, when we think about Suicide Prevention Week, I am not a counselor, but I think it's an important topic to discuss as we talk about wellness and emotional wellness in general. So I think first things first, anyone who is listening who might have thoughts of suicide or struggling with mental health issues, you matter and you belong here. And so I think that is first and foremost that you don't have to do this alone. There are professionals on campus who are here to assist you and care about you and love you so much, even if you don't know us or you've never met us. So we are here to help and assist. Secondly, it's really important to address Suicide Awareness Week because people struggle with mental health issues all the time. And so it's something that we can't see on the outside, right? But it's something that certainly affects a person's well-being in a lot of different ways. So it's really important to bring those issues to light and discuss those and put them out in the air, but also know that there are resources available and that suicide is not the end all be all, that it's there are people who are here to help, and we want to help. So I just want to bring that to light first.
Great. Thank you so much. And I think it's important that we understand that, it is such a heavy topic, but it's a topic that's important to talk about. That if we don't have these conversations and people are left feeling like they're alone, that they can't share, that's where it leads to problems. And we want to ensure that our students feel like they're not alone, know that it's okay. We want to connect you to the resources to ensure that things can get better. And I know that it's really important, like I said, to bring light to these issues and talk about the heaviness that, so many people are struggling or may know someone who's struggling.
Mm-hmm.
With that in mind, what do you think are some warning signs and risk factors of suicide that people can look for?
Yeah, I think first things first, that suicide doesn't discriminate, right? It affects everyone at no matter the age and no matter the circumstances. So I think that's really important to remember, is that suicide does not discriminate. But I think there are some important factors to consider. So I think one of them being is there are some warning signs and risk factors, and I'll just name a few, but men are more likely to die by suicide than women, but also that 18 to 24 age range. And then those individuals over 60 years old are also at higher risk. Also, if you have access to firearms as well. And then lastly, which is one I want to point out, is that if a person has had a loss in some sort of relationship, that also might be a risk factor or a warning sign. But also thinking about that, when you think about warning signs, it could be anywhere from a person is maybe engaging in substance use more often, maybe they are a little bit more isolated, and maybe they are talking about suicide and plans and following through with that. So there are a lot of different warning signs, and the National Suicide Prevention Line, along with the National Alliance on Mental Illness, they are great resources to outline some of those additional warning signs, but also risk factors for individuals in suicide.
Yeah, Beth, I think you mentioned some great resources. And I think what I'm hearing you say is that though there's risk factors and warning signs, it really can happen to anyone. And that's why we all need to be kind of our brother and sister's keeper, and be sure that we're watching out for one another, taking care of one another, and being sure that we can connect those who are in need to those resources. Because just because you might not identify in a specific risk area, it doesn't mean that it couldn't impact you by suffering yourself or knowing someone who's suffering.
And I think an important point too that I also want to mention is that there are sometimes when someone doesn't display any sort of warning signs. And so I think if someone has experienced, someone close to them who has died by suicide, it's never your fault. And sometimes these things are unpredictable, but I think important point to remember is that it doesn't discriminate, and we really want to look out for one another and provide those resources as much as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. So Beth, in talking about someone who might be currently feeling like they're in distress, like critical in the moment, like I need help now, versus someone who's like contemplating, having thoughts of suicide or considering suicide, what resources exist for someone who is in distress or having maybe some unhealthy thoughts?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's important to talk about because everyone's different, right? And even if someone is maybe not thinking about suicide, they might be struggling with some mental health issues. So I think just like anything in life, there are a variety of different options, and one option is not going to be the same for a different person. So I think it's really important to note that our counselors at Harper College are available to meet with students virtually. So I think navigating resources on your own can be really overwhelming. And so I really want to point that out, that you don't have to do this alone. You don't have to do a Google search on your own. You can reach out to the counselors at Harper, and they can provide those different options for you and kind of help you navigate the information that's out there. also be, I want to point out that there are a variety of different community resources that are also available for maybe that long-term counseling that you might need. And then lastly, there are national resources, right? So if you are in immediate help or you need immediate help, you can call that National Suicide Hotline and you can talk to someone one-on-one 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So there's always someone there to listen to you if you just need to chat and you are having those thoughts of suicide. So I think to sum that up, we have great counselors, but also there are wonderful community resources available as well. And then there's that immediate help for students or anyone who might be contemplating or thinking about suicide.
Close us out, we want to make mention that we are going to link some of these resources in our Instagram page so students can connect to the different resources that you mentioned, and we'll list a few more so students really understand the wide range of opportunities that exist to help students who are in need. The other thing is, I hear this a lot, is that students, disclose to other students, to their friends, to their family members that they're having these thoughts or these feelings. What should the person who is in the position where they're being shared information, what should they do? Because I know that there's a lot of feelings of like, I don't want to lose someone's trust. Someone shared information with me in confidence, and I don't want to break that. What should I do?
Yeah, so I think, first of all, a person doesn't have to worry. Their job isn't to solve the problem, but I think what is difficult sometimes, because there is a lot of heaviness that comes with it, but I think it can be difficult to say the words, are you thinking about killing yourself? Because when you say those words, it does feel very heavy, but it's definitely needed. And so I think if you are concerned about someone who might be contemplating suicide, it's important to ask and say, hey, I am worried about you. Are you thinking about killing yourself? And allowing that silence and giving silence a chair and allowing them to respond. And so I think it's really important to make the ask, even though it might not feel comfortable, but sometimes when you do make that ask, that's what people have been waiting for. And so I think sometimes when you talk about it and put it out in the open, that might be the first opportunity where they said, oh my gosh, someone does care about me. And so I think to flip that is really think about, hey, you are concerned about your friend, and the worst that can happen is they say, no, I am not. And at least you can go home and say, hey, like I at least had the conversation. And so I think secondly, if they do talk about thoughts of suicide, getting them immediate help is really important. And so whether it be calling 911 if that's warranted, or reaching out to a mental health professional, whether it be at Harper College, you can always reach out to one of the counselors for that guidance, or some folks in the community as well. And so I think there are a lot of resources available, and your job isn't to be the counselor or the professional. Let them do the work for you. But I think just asking those initial questions are really crucial.
Yeah, and I always think that, at the end of the day, what it means to be a true friend is not necessarily always keeping a promise of like, I'm not going to tell anyone, but being a true friend means that I'm going to ensure that you're safe. And I think in the long run, that is what someone will come to appreciate. They might not appreciate it in the moment, but long term, I think that many individuals will come to realize how much you care and what it really means to be a friend. And so if you know of anyone who's struggling, or if you're struggling yourself, again, we encourage you to reach out. We have so many resources on campus, in the community, and nationwide to connect students with those resources to ensure.
And I think just to close that out, and as I said at the beginning, you are so important, and there's so many people out there who care about you, whether you know it or not. And To Write Love on Our Arms is a wonderful organization dedicated to mental health. But one of the things they often say is, we'll see you tomorrow. And I hope to see all of you tomorrow, because your life is worth living.